So how's it going this morning?
It's going really slow this morning. The first 4 frames I took, I wasn't too happy about them. I kind of rushed them a little bit, so I decided to cut my losses and just delete them and start over again. So that's been a successful morning. It's 10:30 and I've done 4 frames, which isn't a record for me. Yeah, it's a slow one.
How was your morning?
I had a bit of a nightmare this morning. I don't know exactly what it's called, the hanger that holds the chain, takes it to the cogs at the back, just snapped clean off, so that was all a bit exciting.
Off what, your bike?
On my bike, yeah. Sorry, don't mention that.
Off what, exactly? Are you having a dilemma?
Well, yeah, because see, she's got to do this big move towards the husband, going, kind of shouting at him, like, what's it called? But exactly the way the picture is framed, she's ending up, on her movement, she's ending up kissing her ass, his ass, which is not what I want. So I'm trying maybe to move the head, bend the head. Maybe I should go further.
Meanwhile, I just can't get this freaking thing right. It's like if it was 2D, if it was a drawn cartoon, it'd be that thing where they do a little cycle of like a squiggly line above the teeth, and the teeth just kind of go like, you know. And I just want to get something like that, but I'm not doing it right, and it's not working. And I don't know why.
It must be quite nice spending your time with 2 quite entertaining characters all day, bringing them to life.
Yeah, they are good fun, and what I like about doing some of the slug shots is you can have background characters. Like there was one shot with a ladybird. There was another shot where I asked Ollie, the director, if he'd mind if we could have a few ants coming out of the ground, and got a bit carried away and ended up with 62 ants in the background. But you know, it got a laugh, so, which is good.
Chicken is one of my best. I don't know why I'm so good at doing it, and I ain't bragging there, but I just am good at doing that chicken noise, and it goes like this.
Golly wanted them to fall backwards and face camera, so what I've tried to do is just kind of catch part of the face as it comes through, so he's quite wide-eyed and he's got a big sort of A shape, as if he's screaming, kind of going past camera really, and hopefully the audience will kind of pick up on that very briefly, but long enough hopefully for it to be humorous.
In case some lovely viewers didn't have the opportunity to catch the story that's going on here, the little unspoken truth about our gentle polar bear is that somebody was obviously ice fishing here, and he had his little Antarctic Times and his little worm bucket, his little fishing pole, and then he saw this polar bear coming, so he ran off into the cliff because he would rather face a fate plummeting to his death down an Arctic ravine than to stay to meet his fate with a polar bear.
The slugs are great because you can work very quickly. I mean, there's no arms, no legs, little mouths you just stick on, move the teeth, move the eyes. So you can shoot up to 12 seconds a day, which is great. Whereas some characters, 1.5 to 2 seconds a day, more complicated ones.
Animators tend to be perfectionists, and they're very rarely happy with their own work.
It's that fear of falling off, which makes it's that fear of falling off.
So you basically finished this part of the shot. Are you happy with it?
No,
Why not?
I think it looks a bit even.
So what will you do? Are you going to change it, or are you going to see what Golly thinks?
It's that fear of
Let's see what
falling
Golly
off,
thinks.
which makes. It's that fear of falling off, which makes.
The reason I find him funny is that it's more to do with the actual situation of the actual spider being on a web, on a car, travelling at 40 miles an hour, and also talking about the various speed cameras and other people breaking the rules and regulations, and sort of just this little window into another sort of like little beast sort of world. I thought it's quite surreal.
So how are you doing this movement?
I'm doing it with forcing difficulties because I'm just noticing that this actually moves without me asking for it. I'm just gonna. Who should I call? Because he's about to lift the arm and he's gonna lift and go back down and lift again and like 5 times. So I can't really have a dodgy shoulder. That's not gonna work.
Is it always on your mind how you're adding character?
Yeah, it's the most important part of it, really. It's all about the eye line and the position of the head, where the eyes are looking, how they react between each other. So yeah, I'm trying to get her into the pose of just looking a bit bored. So she's got heavy eyelids, looking down. We have her playing with her fingers a bit and just ignoring him, really. And he'll be trying to get her attention and looking over a lot.
Oh my god. Johnny's done a good job preparing it.
Yeah, Johnny's been good, effective, quick. The Johnny's way. No, that's good. I can carry on. So I will carry on.
Yeah, I mean, he's a funny character, I guess. A lot of the things he says are funny, and he's got quite an unusual accent and an unusual tone in his voice, which is really nice. And I think he does sort of stand out in a way because he is unusual.
When the baby was born, I looked at the baby, and it was all wrinkly and old looking. And I thought, ooh, what is that?
So I think everyone kind of likes that side of him. But I don't think they really take into account that he's a bit of a nightmare to animate them. So I just kind of mumble to myself quietly under my breath normally.
This mouse shape I've just put on is one I haven't used yet with his head in this position, and it means that I'm going to have to cut the bottom of it off to make it sit well in there.
It's a bit drastic.
It is surgery, but it has to be done. So, bye. It's all right, I can put it back on again. That's the magic of plasticine, you see.
Right, so this should be completely... See, this is so tiny, you see? So, I mean, whenever you do a bit too much action with this, plasticine just breaks.
This set is quite a peaceful set, I think.
This set, sort of Evening Stars, is sort of quite relaxing, and it's funny that sets can affect your mood. I mean, I've done a commercial which was in the middle of February in a really brightly lit sunny kitchen, and it did make you feel really good.
Well, this set I was very excited when I saw it. It's nice how it's so simple, but it's really dramatic on the monitor. The only complaint I have about it is that it hurts me. I don't know if you can see that. Do you see that red? Ouch. That's from my elbow rubbing on the snow.
And it's blue screen, this one.
Yeah, it's blue screen, and then we'll composite the actual shot later, and put in the mirror, which will be reflecting the sky, and also put in the surround, the blue here, the surround will be the actual sort of framing of the wing mirror. So yeah, it's quite a tricky one because it's a lot of compositing to do.
I don't drive myself, but if everybody obeyed the rules, the traffic would go much better and everybody would get there quicker. We were sticking to the rules and regulations of 40 miles per hour, and there were still cars coming past, and I was shouting and cheering to the speed camera saying, "Get that one, get that one."
Yeah, I think while you are animating, you are most of the time having fun, but some others you are struggling. So that's probably the best moment when you finish and the shot is good and the people laugh. That's the best. That is the puta madre.
What does that mean?
That's very good.
In Spanish?
In Spanish.
For the first time, I feel like I have an excuse to just get home and drink wine and watch TV, because I feel like my day has been fulfilling enough that I don't really have to do anything when I get home. And I like that.
The trouble with the food really now is too much plastic.
Let's pretend that it's been.
The only reason I'm still doing this job is because of
big problem with my eyes at one stage. I went without my eyes on a lot of times.
God have the people who have arthritis.
They can.
That's something I hadn't really considered, appearing on television.
Aardman Animations may now be better known for their work with the cheese-obsessed Wallace and his trusty canine companion Gromit. The founder members David Sproxton and Peter Lord spent their formative years with the company producing a series of groundbreaking films animating real-life conversations.
Oh, hello, lady. I brought my sunshine for you. How's that? Isn't that nice to have a sunny day like this, isn't it?
When we started doing this kind of vox pop, found sound, documentary recording stuff, Pete and I would sit with, a tape recorder, and as we sat and listened and scribbled away, you realise that people, they don't necessarily say what they mean to say, but you understand what they mean. And you have this kind of communication imperfection, stumbling thing, but it's real. They are real people. And I think that's part of the appeal.
I haven't got any money, that's what
I know.
I'm scared.
And the people who have are not very happy sometimes, are they?
I was a student at the time, and I remember talking to my dad on the phone saying, "Have you seen this new series on the TV? You won't believe it. It's this plasticine figures, and they've got such soul and such warmth and character. The humanity is just amazing." And even though it was really crudely done, and I think Pete and David admit that, but there was a real warmth and humanity in there.
Nick Park joined the company in 1986 as a film school graduate to finish off his first Wallace and Gromit film, A Grand Day Out. He was also asked to produce a piece for a new series of animated conversations. The resulting film was entitled Creature Comforts.
Yeah, well, it's reasonably comfortable, I suppose, this place, but I've been in more comfortable rooms, yes.
Well, sometimes you can't get out and about as much as you would like to.
I had to find people who might be in the same situation that animals might be in to give the kinds of answers animals might give. So went to old people's homes, to chose like foreign people living in Bristol, how they cope with the cold weather and the food and all that kind of thing.
If you try to compare the situations and the environment that you live here with the environment that you live in Brazil, there is a big difference. Here you live in a very small place.
It was a magical moment. I remember this day syncing up. The first piece that Nick shot was the jaguar on the log. Suddenly that magic happened, and here was this jaguar absolutely expounding about what he thought of England and the wet weather and Brazil and the food and that, central heating and stuff.
Animation director Richard Golejowski, affectionately known as Golly, has been responsible for some of Aardman's most recent successes, including the award-winning series Rex the Rat. His long association with Aardman and his groundbreaking animation work have earned him the monumental task of breathing new life into Creature Comforts as director on the series.
Golly seemed the best choice, really. We worked together on the original one way back in 1989. If anyone, he was the guy who was going to understand the process.
I think there's something unique about Real Conversation in that it's like I'm doing now. It kind of stutters and stammers around. It's nervous. It's tentative. It's sometimes people don't say exactly what they mean.
At the moment, I'm searching. You know what I mean?
What we all?
Maybe one day I'll just wake up and think, I have evolved.
One day we think you got there, the next minute you get run over.
That's it, game over. You know what I mean?
Do you think Jesus was an astronaut?
He's from another planet. My wife and I holiday annually in Cornwall.
I naturally want to start frolicking, and I think
Gathering
that
interviews with the general public was the starting point for the series. Interviewers were dispatched to all corners of the country to get as broad a spectrum of accents and ages as possible.
I don't know, really. I haven't really given it much thought.
Yeah, where'd you get these questions from?
It's a bit like panning for gold, or it's a bit like going on an adventure. You're going to get blown off track a bit. You don't know quite what territories you're going to go through, because simply until that material comes in, you've got no idea. You might guide it through the way you interview people, but really how you're going to form it, it's just a blank sheet when you start. It's not like you've got a written script.
And every now and again.
And the worst thing that happens in this country is too many people each.
You start with some themes in mind for each episode, but you don't tie yourself down to them, because the material we got back from people is what shaped the series. So it kind of works both ways, because I'm also thinking of, it would be funny if you had a maggot sat on a fish hook saying that you liked fishing or you liked the Norfolk Broads and it was nice here.
You can't be morbid, else you wouldn't be able to do the work. You've got to have a laugh, and a joke, you have a joke, you know.
Quite a lot of them see it as a form of therapy, actually. By the end of it, they're shaking your hand and saying, thanks, that was amazing, I've got a lot off my chest.
OK. Right. Nice to have spoken to you anyway.
You're not actually asking anybody to give you the right answer to anything. You're just asking for their opinion.
And I don't like the music, that horrible roundabout music with, clowns aren't not my...
There aren't any rules. It's kind of anybody might do, but anybody might not do.
I might be very loyal, but I do like my father said before me. He said, you trust everybody once.
A boring voice, for example, can be very boring, but it can also be funny because it's boring as well.
So I'm loyal to the point of disloyalty.
Not that many voices I've listened to naturally throw up a character, but the best ones do. Somebody might sound a bit like a horse, or they've got somebody that sounds like a hamster.
Not very good at swimming. I just sink. Don't know why that is.
I had octopus once when I didn't know it was octopus, mind.
Very tough, isn't it?
Yes.
Very tough.
But I ate it, I'm saying.
When you really listen to conversation, it is fantastic. It's so rich, because everybody's their own scriptwriter. And if you've got a dialogue, or 3 or 4 people in a pub or cafe or home, they've all got their own angle, and they've all got their own train of thought which they're trying to pursue.
I can't even juggle.
Well, can I? I juggle with 2 things, but not with 3.
That's not really juggling, is it?
No, it's chucking stuff up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're looking for clues. Like, for instance, we've got a character that, while he was being interviewed, was interrupted by his mother, and you can hear in the background coming through the door. He says, "Can I help you, mother? Yeah, do you want something?" And she says something, and he says,
"Just go back in your little."
So we made him a worm, because that was it just seemed appropriate from what was being said.
But then, beginning of the season, you might not have enough snow, which is quite frustrating. And then at the end...
300 interviews generate 500 to 600 hours of material to listen to, and that's a huge mountain to climb, considering there is only one director.
Snow, turning it into slush.
Could be a bull.
And then that gets really...
Might be quite good, especially one with skis. Yeah. Or it could be a bat, because we haven't had a bat yet. The best voices are quite difficult, because you realise that if you've got a really good recording with lots of great juicy lines in it, that they could be several animals, so you then have to use the one that you can kind of use the most, or get the most laughs, or be the most appropriate.
Each day I can run
Touchwood with
the greyhound went from being a bee at one stage to a bird, back to a bee again.
Retired from racing. I don't even like to think about it. I feel it.
It's kind of so laboured in the way that he had his interview that every time we got into the meat of his answer, we kind of wanted to stop him. And that's where Golly kind of came up with this idea that he could be this greyhound that never finished his sentence.
I feel that if I've given my best performance and it's a good one, then obviously I get the reward, the pat on the back, knowing that you've tried to do your best for your coach. They've given you the training, the least you can do.
Listen to the voices and you've got an idea, and it's really nice to see the pictures come up against the voice to see if it's working or not. Mike is Nick's representative on Earth, so I trust him a lot.
It's quite posh, this bloke,
Yes, it's Yard.
I always go home.
Listen to the voice and then you have a few ideas, a few sketches up your sleeves, and the more info I can get to go on, the better it gets, and then I let's get a sort of rough idea and sort of let's sketch it out.
Almost like an Aryan bull, like a muscular, very laid back as well. That's the important thing. And holding a glass of wine like a wine taster, sort of from the base.
Right.
And I wanted him to kind of look at the wine while he's talking. And a very sort of elegant barn conversion in the background.
As to whether they visited us or not, recently.
While the character's being designed, built, we're also sitting in a room and doing live action video recordings.
I think that was something which I felt a bit bemused by that.
Yes. Mainly, I just watched Jeremy Paxman.
Dogs they've got...
Either myself or the animators talking through the line to get the most out of that line, to try and get to that, like I said, the emotional truth behind what's actually being said. Is he telling the truth? Is he kind of slightly embarrassed to be asked that question? We try to get to as much depth as we can with each line. Because the dog's appealing to his owner. He's kind of given up trying to drop hints and trying to get the owner to react. Don't, so it's like lots of treats. And that's the point where we decide how the creature's going to be animated. It's trying to find that human element in what's being said. That's the bit I enjoy most.
Like the best thing to do an impression of a stick. Stupid.
Are you happy with that, Golly?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just realised that there's the stick insects haven't got a great deal of expression because they're very kind of thin characters, 2 eyes and a little flappy mouth, so I was just wondering about an eyebrow is very useful normally on a character because you can get a variety of expression, but we can't really do that with these sticks, but we might sort of do some squash and stretch on the eyes.
It's very hard to have to suddenly switch from listening to voices deciding on characters and then going into the set and briefing animators how a shot should work, doing a rehearsal with them in live action, then approving a shot, and then wondering how that fits in music. And all of this happens in one day.
It'd be quite nice to have a hand at points.
People say we should be getting awards for sheer numbers of puppets made. I think we've made 150 plus speaking characters, and then there's lots of background characters and walk-ons, and sometimes Golly will just kind of call for, can we have a ladybird walking in the background for tomorrow morning? So we'll chuck in a few of those as well. It's a very simple style. I mean, there's certain kind of set things that, like having that kind of heavy brow that makes things very expressive, and the eyes close together, usually kind of slightly cross-eyed.
I think you get more out of a dog in response.
Well, they're more interesting, aren't they?
I think they're thicker than cats, personally.
That kind of big mouth shape seems to work very well with Yorkshire and Lancashire accents. It doesn't work on all the characters, and we kind of try to tailor the mouths and the the way the mouth works to the different kinds of voices as well.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me.
We wouldn't sit next to someone that had radios blaring out and were really being loud and everything. I think if they came and sat next to us, we'd move.
It's either the bull terrier or the bulldog can hardly breathe.
So sorry. Originally, when Nick Park was animating Creature Comforts, he used to sculpt through the mouths, which meant that literally that you just take the mouth, and if you wanted to open it, you would just literally open it up a little bit, smooth it off, take a shot, move it a bit more, smooth it off, take a shot, and it's a really long process. And more recently, we've developed a process where you can actually take the mouth off and put a different expression back on again.
At the end of the shoot, we would have done 120 different setups, and within that you've got slugs which might be this big to a dog which is this big. So each different setup will need different size props.
To something about half the scale of these. I've got this, which is the visual, and we have the puppets for the main characters already sculpted. I know how big they are, and then we're going to force the perspective a bit and make the characters behind smaller than the characters in front. We just need to know how much smaller, and then how big the set's going to be before we can start making it.
The size of the puppet which an animator can animate dictates the scale of the set. This is the Pet Shop set, and what's slightly different about this is all built full scale, so it has to be lit full scale. And this is the outside of the pet shop. If we built him full scale, he'd be something like a couple of hundredweight of plasticine and nobody could move him. So he's quarter scale, and the lighting appropriately has to be quarter scale as well.
I don't catch flies because they eat poo. Yeah,
I don't catch flies. What I'm doing here is breaking the sound down into phonetic shapes, then allocating those to a dope sheet so that the animators get their mouth shapes in the right place, basically, so that the lip sync is tight, because that's really important to me. I can't stand shoddy lip sync, there's no need for it. So here, you can hear the P coming in there, and there's the P of poo. Down to that point. And then if you listen on the end, there's just a little breath there that the child takes before the track cuts out. So I also tell the animator when the puppet is supposed to be breathing. And they put breathe in. Breathe in.
I went to a friend's last weekend.
The things that make the creatures seem very human are just the things that people do. I love the thing. That's great. Sniffs, or even breathing in. If you can incorporate those details into the animal, you kind of almost believe it's alive. You know, I still do, and I've been doing it for 20 years.
I really enjoy working with people that have got.
Great. It's great. It's really you've got the character.
I really look forward to going to work because
each puppet or each character is going to be slightly different because they'll do more nervous things when they're on TV or, you know, being recorded. So they might stutter, they might go like that. So you can overemphasise that. The lady herself, she's partially blind, so it's ironic that she's doing a guide dog. But I think that's the cute and loveliness about it, I suppose. Yeah, she's a good voice to animate with.
With people that have got difficulties.
You hear the voice and Golly will kind of tell you what he has in mind. So I don't know what this guy really looks like, but in my mind he's a Ginger Tom, so that's what I think he is.
I've got a lovely smile, which my mum says. So I look good for my age too.
I think animators are a strange hybrid between a director and an actor, in that they're making a puppet perform, but it's their performance through the puppets. You know, they're directing their scene in terms of being aware of what else is happening in that scene.
She's a bit silly. I'm sure she's not in real life. And he gets irritated by her sometimes. And he's so lazy. He's just great because he's so lazy with his slow eyelids and slow mannerisms.
We're trying to shoot on average per animator about 4 seconds per day. Say like The Cat and the Dog, 2 characters all both speaking at the same time, quite a bit of action, full lip sync. You know, will only take 2 seconds a day maximum, maybe 3 if you're lucky, if there's a lot of pauses.
This particular character's just talking about his friends in the neighbourhood and how they all get together, you know, and sort of when the weather's really, really dry. This is probably the only pond in the neighbourhood.
There aren't many ponds in the neighbourhood.
I'm animating all of them at the moment. This particular one's sort of just exercising, one in the back sort of fanning, and this one's just turning around to engage with this one.
Because of the process, you find yourself kind of looking at people when they're talking, and you're kind of more aware of those details actually happening in front of your eyes for real, you know.
I don't really enjoy proper.
He's actually quite simple, this one, because he's on a winder underneath the set and he just moves up and down. No arms, no legs. The worst one were 2 shrimps, and for each 2 frames I had to move 36 separate items.
I'm an excellent swimmer, and I've got loads of badges, and I've won a few competitions. I've got life-saving awards and all sorts of badges.
Element of Creature Comforts is its plasticine, and I can make one of those.
I think the reason we still use plasticine, and probably always will, is that because you can be so expressive with it. I think that's the great thing about Creature Comforts, is that it's not about action and editing, and it's more about giving a space for a character just to develop.
That the imperfection of human conversation is reflected in the imperfection of the way that we animate it. It is kind of more real. It's not been edited out to smoothness and perfection.
Plasticine kind of reveals the process of animation, whereas maybe other drawn animation or CGI don't.
The bottom line is we never sunbathe.
English was very bland, isn't it? The best place for rock pooling is definitely Sidmouth.
Been chased by an old English sheepdog.
I think I'm an oddity. I've got a foot in both camps, really.
I think we've evolved to our full potential.
I used to be a chaser myself.
Some days I can move mountains, the next day I can't do anything.
I've got a windy stomach.
Chip butties.
Sterile waters somewhere, and the volcanic chemicals and all that. Shut up.
It does highlight, in a way, the humanity of people, their care for each other, the way they think about the world, the way they think about their lives.
I find that people are saying opinions that you never really ever see in documentaries because there isn't the platform or the idea to express those things.
It's just finding that kind of emotional truth in what people say, and I think people recognise that.
Teamwork. That's one thing about it I like. I wouldn't like to work on my own.
It's over 100, isn't it?
Well, it used to be more than 200.
We've lost quite a few.
People say things that are very revealing about themselves, and I think there is a mixture of tragedy and comedy in Creature Comforts. The kind of the revealing of very kind of personal things.
I always wanted a shed all my life, and now I've got one.
To read pornography in.
Not to read pornography.
It's a really funny kind of hybrid thing that's come about, really, because I'm not sure of the ethics of it at all. Of using people in this way. It's an odd thing, and then making them into animals.
I can't do anything with anybody's feet. I can't. After all, I'm doing anything with my own, and sputum really makes my stomach turn over.
What the heck? It's funny.
I like the hamster. I feel an empathy with the hamster because it sounds like he doesn't leave the house much. I think he's great. I'd love to meet him.
And I like the cat and the dog on the sofa. There's the guide dog. The slugs are one of my favourites, actually. I love the dogs in the skip, they're great. Actually, I love also the sea anemones and the hamster, actually.
My name's Dan Sinclair and I'm an interviewer for Creature Comforts. This is a story of how Creature Comforts was made, from the inside. I love interviewing. It takes me to all sorts of locations and to meet so many different types of people.
And my aim is to break his shoulders down.
Well, you're getting swinging through the air that you don't know where you're at.
Here's the journey of the wrestler's interview. The mini-disc goes to Hannah, who logs the details. In total, there'll have been over 500 interviews done, but only a fraction of this material makes up the final episode. Then edit assistant Lisa digitises the mini-disc into the computer system and runs off a copy on CD. The CD goes to Amanda, who transcribes the entire interview. After Amanda has finished, she emails a transcript to Creature Comforts. Here it's used by script editor Toby, editor Dan, and director Golly in a brainstorming session.
So you think the cat and the mouse in one shot is too complicated?
No, I think the cat's holding the mouse by the tail and goes whap, whap, whap. I love working on Creature Comforts because my job's varied. I'm thinking of jokes, I'm designing the characters, I'm acting out the lines, I'm deciding what the set should look like, where it should be. So most of the artistic decisions, I don't think it's any more important or less important than anyone else's job, but it's the job that stitches all the elements together.
Golly now meets with storyboard artist Sylvie. Golly has strong character ideas for the wrestlers, so Sylvie will draw up his designs. However, she'll often receive a more open brief. Although around 130 of Sylvie's designs will be made into actual models, she'll have drawn over 700 in total. Dan has edited the wrestlers' interview into a funny snippet, and Golly is happy with Sylvie's designs, so the process to animate begins. Head model maker Kate, in the middle, briefs Johnny, who'll create the cat and mouse. Julia, who will animate the shot, is also involved to ensure the mechanics of the puppets suit her animating style.
It's amazing how much just one little thumbprint somewhere can make a character's face change, you know? Or, you know, just a little bit of extra plasticine on a brow, or, you know, just slightly bigger pupils on an eye.
Johnny is near finishing the cat and mouse, so removes the jaws from both. He hands them over to Amanda, who layers up moulds in clay. She'll then pour fast cast onto them, which once set will create press moulds. The press moulds have set, and Amanda has pressed out 13 mouths for the mouse and is doing the same for the cat. She also created moulds of their eyes and teeth, so replicas of these can be made. She then hands the mouths over to Shona, who sculpts the mouths into the 13 basic phonetic mouth shapes the animators use. Chris then breaks down the lines that the cat and mouse will say into their phonetic sounds. Floor manager Kate takes the cat and mouse down to the studio as work is starting on the set. Toby is one of the lighting cameramen.
You might start thinking about, you know, putting the light from a certain side or getting a certain effect with the light. What's great is if you can achieve that look, but it actually looks 10 times better than you'd ever imagined.
Golly is about to record a lav for the cat and mouse line with Julia, who will animate the shot.
So we're basically miming to the line to get as much as we can out of the line.
Well, you're getting swinging through the air like you don't know where you're at, and you're trying to, like...
You know, you can subvert a line and take it lots of different directions, and I just, that's the most fun bit for me.
I just love the contrast, look at that.
Julia is ready to start the cat and mouse shot. The target for the animators is 4 seconds of animation per day.
I'm reaching the point where the cat is just going like crazy and is going to bash the mouse 5 times in a row quite violently on the floor. But the last 3 are going really quickly, so then I've got to change the speed, the timing of the animation. Ready? Done.
Well, you're getting swinging through the air like you don't know where you're at, and you're trying to, like, find where you are, but he's got complete control of your body. Yeah, that move is really painful on your socket of your shoulder because he really pulls at it, and when you land, it's painful on your... Yeah.
When he lands on the floor, so I still got control of him.
You feel a bit like dizzy afterwards.
The 8 maids or the 6 maids milking, I think that's milking cows, like to feed.
Well, it's got to be, innit? What else?
Yeah.
Milk. Goats, I suppose.
Baby. Milking their babies. Fair play.
No,
That's better than what I could do. Yeah, that's cool.
that's the idea. I mean,
Well, no, I can.
Show me 2.
Well, I'm just.
I couldn't do 2.
Yeah, but mine, it's not a juggling. I don't think. I think it's just cheating me.
Yeah, but show me how to do it, because I.
It's like that. Try doing that now. As long as it ain't too long. What is it to have everything? I mean, I'd rather have what I've got and be happy than everything and not
Yeah,
be
but once
happy.
you've got everything, where do you go from there?
You give it away.
Well, he's got 5, and I've actually got, here, I've got Jasmine.
Do you reckon Dad is fighting the monsters?
No.
Hey, what did I do, Dom?
Eat them all up.
Eat them all up. Like the 3 piggies.
Yeah.
What's that big thing in the sky?
Yes, sir. 3 bags full. 1 for the master.
when she gets going.
1 for the day.
It's Jasmine's way or no way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you agree with me. Yeah, you agree with that one, don't you?
She's a female. What other way is there? They always get their own way.
I think everybody should have a Geordie accent in Tash. Even the women. Do I like dark places? Well, I think it's a lot of it's just in your mind. I mean, if your mind wanders and you wonder about scary things and that, and who's behind the corner and everything. But I mean, as you get older, you get more confident. I think it's better to be old and wise, tell you the truth. I mean, young and beautiful. It's nice. It's nice to be young and beautiful, I suppose. If you want that sort of life. But I suppose it's nice to be young and beautiful if you can move on to being old and wise. But I think it's a boring, it's a false life living at night time. The morning time, the daytime is what you want when everything's coming alive and everybody's waking up to a fresh start. Not night time. There's a thing in Newcastle where everybody's called man, even a woman. If you're talking to a woman, you're going, alright, man. I mean, if I'm talking to my mother, I'd say, who, man? But I mean, that's my mother. My mother's not a man.
Did what? Bought some nail varnish with my daughter the other day. They were playing. And I couldn't believe it. How much think it is, a little bottle of nail varnish?
I've no idea now.
£6.95.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Speed cameras.
Nope. Don't get it.
Do you know what speed cameras are?
Cucumbers.
And just a question I forgot to ask you earlier. Are you a day? I asked Muriel if she was a day or a night creature. Are you a day or a night creature?
Day or night? No, I get to bed about 9, 9:30, and that's it.
Do you dream?
Done ho?
No.
Run home?
No.
Bung ho?
Dream.
Oh, yes, I dream.
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't they?
Oh no, I always dream the same dream, and I can never get to the bottom of it. And it's my husband showing me a printed card. And I go in the room and he's showing me this card. It's most peculiar. I've never had time to read it properly.
Better go back to sleep.
Yeah, go back to sleep.
Unfamiliar places. If you're in an unfamiliar place, how does that affect you?
Sorry?
With what? Sorry.
Unfamiliar place.
Empty. Emptying a suitcase.
2 husbands you've had, haven't you? Or 3?
4 children.
How many husbands?
Oh, that's not the point. Nobody asked me how many husbands.
Yes,
you
but-
will bring that up. Not ready yet. It's not finished quite yet.
I never said he had.
No, I'm sorry. No, I thought you picked up your handbag.
Or last one, how about, can you do an impression of Julia Roberts?
I think she would be, Julia Roberts would be quite an American voice. Howdy, how are you today? How are things going? That would be my impression of Julia Roberts.
Just talk a little bit about sport to start with. I mean, would you consider yourself a sporty?
No, not really. I've never been very good at sport because of my physique.
Do you ever do sports to impress the opposite sex at all?
No, I wouldn't want to impress the opposite sex with sport because I think they just posers. Boxing, I love to watch boxing, but I wish I had the physique to be a boxer. When the Jane Fonda workout video has been on, I have actually joined in once or twice, but at my age now I've gone a bit stiff.
How did you find your experience of being interviewed for Creature Comforts?
I found it very satisfying and interesting. Yes, it was great fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience of it.
It's been really good. It's been educational. It's been something I never thought I would experience in my life, and it's been a fantastic experience. It's something I'll sort of, it'll be in my memory for years and years to come. I mean, when I'm an old man, I'll sort of remember this sort of thing. It's just it's been really good.
A bit nerve-wracking.
Really?
Well, in a way, because we're answering questions ad lib.
No, I think you're very good. You'll get better, but I think you're excellent.
It all relates to something, you know. It's all sort of... Jazz, I'm trying to talk a minute, mate. Hey, listen to me. Jazz, right, take your phone.
It's opened my eyes a little bit. I've never...
Stop it now.
I always thought it was just people reading a script. You know, I didn't realise it was done this way.
Our voices will be dubbed with funny little things. It'll be quite fun to watch them, I think.
If I'm a little dog, I won't.
They will let us know.
Or a pussycat, or a horse. In that order.
No, I think
dog, pussy, horse.
Well, I don't basically care what it is. I'd be chuffed with whatever it's going to be. Myself.
Good.
Hey. Even if it's an alien blob, I'll be quite chuffed.
A water rat or a water vole or something. But it'll be somebody that sort of thing. But I'm not bothered. I'm a Geordie. I'll fade back. We'll get back now when the bird comes in. When the bird comes in, champion.
What I don't want to be. No, I won't say that because it's not nice.
What? Go on.
A moo cow.
You don't want to be a moo cow?
Because being my name, I have had a nickname, Moo, for years and years until I've told people I don't like to be called Moo instead of Muriel. Hello, the door's open.
Hello.
I think it's lunchtime now.
Sorry to be a pain.
That's
I'm
okay.
moaning downstairs.
Right, well, thank you
We're
very
coming, keep it hot.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Muriel, for all your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you for listening to us.